Hello and welcome to In the Loop. In this episode, IA publisher Gary Robinson travels to the Isle of Man to meet Chief Executive Officer of Hansard Global, Thomas Morfett.
Let's just have a chat.
Yeah.
It's a nice Monday morning.
It is.
Welcome to our IA In the Loop podcast series. Many congratulations on being part of it. I say that in a sort of flippant way, but we only do 12 of these a year, and it's really nice to get to know you. First off, for our readers and subscribers, what's your name, what do you do, and where are we sat today?
Yeah, well, I'm Tom Morfett. I'm the CEO at Hansard, and we're sat here in our boardroom in Douglas in the sunny Isle of Man, which is relatively unusual, particularly for the end of September. It's a pleasure to have you here in our offices.
Thank you very much. Look, you took over from Graham Sheward last year. Yeah. We've not really got to know you, so today's a bit of a getting to know you session. How's the sort of first year? How's that all been going? And tell me what it's like to be CEO, because you've been with the company a few years, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I was with the company for about a year before I took over from Graham as CEO, so not that long. But I've really enjoyed my first year as CEO. It has been a challenge at times, but it's also been very exciting. I suspect other first-time CEOs would agree with me on this, but you don't realise how big the job is until you're doing it. And perhaps I'm not sure anybody would actually take the job on if they really knew what it entailed.
Is that any CEO of any company?
Well, I've only been CEO of this company, but I've always enjoyed a challenge, and I've always enjoyed having something to throw myself into. And I think in every position I've had over the course of my career, I've enjoyed that sort of thing. So,
well, I can empathise. I can empathise with you on one thing. When you move from a role, my background. I was able to be part of a management buyout for Investment International, the II Awards and the II History. We took over that about 18 months ago, myself and a colleague. But moving from being a publisher to then being in charge of it all, it's a big step. You're right. There's a lot more to think about. But it's also great fun as well, isn't it? That challenge is there.
But we have so many stakeholders that you have to manage in this job. We've got our customers and the advisors who help them. We've got fantastic people in this organisation. We have investors and shareholders. We're listed in London, so that doesn't just come with investors and shareholders, but comes with all the paraphernalia of analysts and stockbrokers who all want to understand your business and know what's going on. We're still majority family owned as well, so we have a controlling family as an important stakeholder to manage. And that's a real strength of this organisation. One of the things that I think is really very good about it is we managed to combine the culture of a family business with the sort of discipline and financial rigour of a stock market listed company.
That's a really good analogy. I've not heard that one before. It's an interesting point. Look, I don't know whether you want to mention this side. There was, sadly, the main shareholder, big part of the Hansard story, died last year. Was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. No, it was earlier this year.
That
Leonard passed away, and his sort of influence is still there in the business, and I think that's what I mean when I say that this is a family business. His son still sits on our board. They're still very much involved, and he was Yeah, he was very well thought of around the business. It was a shame I never got to meet him because, as I say, I only joined Hansard a couple of years ago and he was already well into his 90s. But our long-standing staff members who've been with the business for many years all speak about Leonard with tremendous fondness. And the fact that the business is still here and is still going strong, I think, is his legacy.
No, absolutely, and it's important to it's important to continue to uphold that. What's it what's it like being listed and everybody kind of knowing, 'cause some of your rivals or some of the let's not call them rivals, some of the competitors, some of the other organisations out there don't have the same rigours that you guys do. Do you think that's good for your business? How does that work for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is good for our business to have some of that extra rigour and financial discipline, but it does come with challenges. It particularly comes with challenges about what we can say. So the reason we're doing this interview today is that we published our results last week. And this is kind of the time of year when it's easiest for me to speak openly because we've just put a huge amount of information with those results out into the public domain. But we couldn't do the interview 2 weeks ago because with the results coming up and not being out there in the public domain, I'd have to be so careful about what I said.
Yeah. So the results, talk us through those, Tom, because I wrote the story last week, and it was kind of like a positive with a negative, then a positive, and then a negative. Yeah. Or let's not call them negative. Let's call them. There was some sort of inevitabilities there. You got the legacy issues going on, but you had an upbeat tone around it. And talking to you today, it feels that you seem very very upbeat and very not necessarily bullish, but you seem very positive for the future. So tell me about the results.
Yeah, I think we have a vision for the business. And what we're seeing come through in the results are the first green shoots of that vision taking root. Our top-line sales numbers were up a little bit, and that's the first year we've been able to report a growth in sales for a long time. And the vision that I have for the business and that the whole leadership team has for the business is one of leveraging our smaller scale, being agile, being dynamic, having the right products in the market, dealing with the right partners, being there for people to work with. You can come and talk to us in a world where it's becoming increasingly difficult to find somebody to speak to. And I think that we can offer a kind of bespoke service if we do things right in a way that it's harder for larger organisations to do. I touched on Hansard's ownership structure, and one of the really freeing things of the ownership structure of a company like this is that we get to take the decisions. Day to day, I have an executive committee here in the Isle of Man, and we meet every week and we can decide things and we can get on with it. Our board meets regularly and it decides things and we get on with it. And there's no kind of, over the course of my career, I've worked for some very large multinationals, and you have a good idea and you just get tied up in red tape. It needs a bit of money spent on it, so it needs to go to the next level and the next level, and somebody sitting in another country at head office, and you can't actually move on it for a year. Whereas here, we're not like that. We can do things and we can push on.
The can-do approach, they call it, and also without without those additional filters and hoops to jump through every time.
That's right. And one of the challenges that Hansard has had over recent years is we've put a new system in place, and putting a new system in place is a really big thing for a financial institution to do. The system, it's almost like the heart of a modern financial institution. everything you do for your customers, you're doing through your IT systems. So when you change your system, everything changes. And building that new system took us a number of years. And while we were building it, we were very inwardly focused, looking at that, trying to make sure that we did it as well as we could. And if you're inwardly focused, you're not looking out. You're not talking to the market, to the people who distribute your products. And that's always going to be a problem. But what we've done over the last couple of years, as we've started to come out of the back of that journey, is we're back. Hansard's back. We've launched some new products. We launched Global Select, a little over 18 months ago, and we've launched Ascend and Future Focus at the start of this year. And that's part of what's driving the growth story behind our sales, is we're back. We've got the right products now. They're market-leading products, and it's showing in the numbers.
Tell me, so effectively, so I can understand what you're saying, when you build a new system, you can't necessarily road test it until you road test it. It's a bit like, I was going to say, it's a bit like the chief medical officer of the UK puts out a new drug or signs one off. They don't really know what's going to happen until you put it out there. So there's been challenges.
There have been challenges, and there's still challenges.
And how have you met those? How have you?
We've met them with the right focus, I think. We went into this with our eyes open, knowing that there would be challenges, and there have been challenges. It would be wrong of me to pretend that there aren't, and there's still some challenges. There's still some things in the system that need a bit of work doing to them, but we've got the right people to do it. We've got the ability to pick and choose what we do in what order, and we're working through it. I think we'll probably have another 6 months, maybe 12, before we've got everything in the system exactly where we want it. But as I say, it's a huge. I do like the kind of the system is the beating heart of the organisation. I think that's a good analogy. And when you've given an organisation a heart transplant, sometimes it misses a few beats afterwards, but we'll get there. It's in there. It's stronger than what we had before, and we can grow.
On the tech side, though, you spent a lot of money, new system. You have been very, very agile in product development, and the feedback that we've had, because we get feedback from the advisory world, is that these products are really good products. They're doing what the clients want them to do. When it comes to, this is the first time I've met you, and you seem very comfortable with chatting to the press. Maybe that's because you've got the best journalist in the industry. Indeed, here, of course. I jest. What about Tom? What's your style of management like? What's your, you've stepped up into the CEO role. You've seen that it's not the easiest job in the world. How do you manage people?
Yeah, I mean, you have to evolve your style of management. I'm a believer in everybody has a natural style, but you've also got to make sure that you work in the right way in the job that you're doing with the people that you have, and different jobs and different people need different kind of management styles. And I found myself evolving my management style. So before I did this role, I've always worked in finance roles, and finance people are, and finance questions are a little different to the questions you get in a broader role, like being a CEO. They tend to be quite objective. So if you're sitting around the table with a finance leadership team and you can't agree on something, then you sort of need to go away and think about it some more, do some more sums, and you'll get to the answer, and then you'll agree. So you can manage through consensus more easily in that kind of in those kind of jobs. Whereas as a CEO, the challenges you have are often much more subjective. There's people and relationships involved, and there's also business decisions to be taken where it's much less clear what the right answer is. So if you think you're going to get to the right answer by sitting around the table and talking about it and getting an executive committee of 8 or 9 people to all agree, then it doesn't really always work like that. So you need to listen to what everybody has to say, and sometimes you've got to, as a CEO, I have to step in and say, this is what we're going to do. And that takes me out of my comfort zone a little bit, but it's something I've been learning to do, and I think I'm quite comfortable doing that now. But the difficult bit of that challenge is that you then have to bring everybody in the organisation along with you. If you've got a large organisation, and it's back to this sort of family business culture I was talking about. We've got a lot of people who really care very passionately about the organisation, and their hearts are all in the right place, but 90% of them want to go this way and 10% of them want to go that way, and we decide to go this way. But to really make a success of it, you've got to bring the other people along with you. And that takes a little bit of time. You need trust to do that. And you need to that takes time to build that up. So, yes, it's been an interesting learning curve. So, for a job where I spend 90% of my time talking to other people, it can feel surprisingly lonely.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I've had a similar scenario with, especially when you get friendships and then you become someone's boss. It kind of changes. When I've had that scenario with friends, they kind of it can be very, very challenging because we all like to please people, don't we? As well, you don't want to upset people, but you sort of got to develop this thicker skin. I mean, is this something you found, like you've done it for a year now, is this something that you found easy? Have you found that you've personally changed as a result of becoming a CEO? Have you had to be tougher and a bit more thick-skinned?
You do, you have to be tougher. You have to be more thick-skinned, but you also have to be tougher with people too. There's times when you need to be sort of outwardly tough, and there's times when you need to be tough when the feedback's coming back and it's not necessarily what you want to hear. But that's what I think, that really is part of the challenge, and that's part of what makes the job exciting. Is it is if it never took you out of your comfort zone, then you just kind of tick along. Whereas to get thrown some curveballs from time to time and get some things where you sort of have to stop and take stock and say, am I really doing this right, or am I just going down the easy path because I don't want to upset anybody?
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, it's all about, you're publicly listed. It's all about the bottom line. At the end of the day, but also you've mentioned it a few times today. It's about the stakeholders. It's about the end users. It's about the advisors that are out there, and ultimately, it's about about the clients as well, and making sure that that they are looked after.
I think our organisation is one where we are about the top line as well as about the bottom line, and I think that is important. We want to grow, and unlike some other businesses, we're probably not going to grow through buying other businesses. We want to grow organically. We want to grow by working with the people who distribute our business, supporting them to grow their businesses while we grow our business, and growing in that way. But the nature of the kind of business that we write is that it's so long term. that actually influencing the bottom line kind of year on year is, there's some things you can do. You can manage your expenses carefully and those kind of things. But basically, you've got this momentum from all the existing customers that you have that's there in the business. But for a company like ours to rely just on that is not going to be setting ourselves up for the future. Those customers, they'll stay for a long time, but they won't stay forever. So finding the new ones is really important. And yes, I think that kind of top-line focus is something that can set Hansard apart.
Now you've got you've got the new products. There's a question here that Hansard being at the crossroads. You said it 2-3 times now. Hansard are back. There's your tagline, right?
That's right.
Hansard are back. When you say Hansard are back, what does that mean? And what direction is the business moving in? And you are only small. How do you can it be scaled upwards so you can follow these multiple paths?
Yeah, well, I think that the engine room can easily be scaled. One of the things that we were looking to do when we put our new system in place was have a scalable model, and so that kind of works fine. We're there, we're ready. I'm not worried about us sort of outgrowing that element of the business. And then in terms of can we take on every opportunity that comes across our desks? Well, no, we're small, we probably can't. But the opportunities that we do want to take on are ones where we can do things a little bit differently, where due to our smaller size, our scale, our increased agility, faster decision making, commitment to relationships, those kind of things, we can work with people in a different way. And I very much want us to listen to what's going on out there in the markets that we're in, to work with people who share a similar vision to us, who want to grow their businesses organically, who want to be agile and dynamic and to do new things, and to find ways in which we can help.
Fantastic. I love that. Well, what I've got from today, some great positivity. I'm excited to see how the future develops under your stewardship, Tom. And many congratulations in your first year in the role. And onwards and upwards. Let's see what 2026 looks like. And good luck at the II Awards in the coming weeks as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Gary. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for watching or listening wherever you get your podcasts. Join us again next time for In the Loop.